Right, we are 9 minutes from kick-off here at the EBB, so high time we said hello and good evening to those who've tuned in already. Thank you, Lindsay Morris, for letting me know that we're coming through loud and proud in Tenerife despite the pitter-patter of rain outside. Lindsay, we're so feeling for you so much, the fact that it's raining in Tenerife tonight. Not. Very good evening to Mike Brown, who said the commentary levels are good. Can you still hear Steve sobbing in the background? No, he's dried up now. He's dried up now. You're never going to live that down.
Someone asked for the team sheet. Where's your
It's in the coaches. I thought, oh well, I'll be okay.
Your commentary team this evening is myself, Rob Worrell, and Steve Gibbs, the former Aldershot Town media manager, who's had rather a lot of fame in the last couple of days. Towards the end of the highlights package, and here to defend himself right now is Mr. Gibbs. Good evening, Steve. Hold it together for me, please.
Good evening, Rob. Good evening, everybody. I promise to hold it together this evening. Frankly, I don't care.
I don't care. I'm glad you did.
It was an amazing moment.
You cried for us both, mate. I just had to keep going because I was presenting.
Yeah.
So
there have been people on many internet platforms that have said that they identified with my reaction. It was entirely natural. I knew it was going to happen, but it was entirely natural and uncontrolled, as I think came across.
Could you confirm for the listeners out there who might still be wondering who it was that said the words "pull yourself together, man"? Because I'm getting accused of this, and it was not me. It was your good self saying it to yourself, wasn't it?
It was me in a vain, forlorn effort to actually stay coherent and not just dissolve into a puddle on the floor of the press box.
But needless to say, you're looking forward to seeing the shots under the arch of Wembley. Are you?
I'm going home. Toys properly out the pram. Yes, absolutely. May the 11th cannot come quick enough.
You're not the only one.
Yeah.
Good evening to Graham Whitehead, who said it was an excellent commentary on Saturday from us both, and very good evening to Colin Hayden, who's still on cloud 9. That's the problem, you see, Lindsay. He's up there on the cloud, and that's why it's raining over Tenerife. Can't wait for Wembley. Presume you're coming over from Tenerife, the pair of you. I know you are, Lindsay, because Becky has informed me tonight that you are. So that's good news. And 6 coach loads already booked out,
and that's
Steve,
just the start of it.
And that's 3 days. And I want to say fair play to Becky Morris and all the volunteers, particularly Heather Nicholson as well. These guys give so much of their time voluntarily, and they actually, nobody preempted that Aldershot would get there, but thoughts and discussions were had about if we get there, what we do. And
you have to.
And everything has been activated really quickly. There's merchandise available for pre-order. Coaches, 5 of them sourced, another 5 sourced today.
Yeah.
So keep on booking your coach spaces. £20 means you get there and back safely.
That's a ridiculous price in these days.
And they are leaving at 10 o'clock in the morning, so you can get there in time to watch the Whitstable and Whiteleaf FA Vase Trophy as well.
I did love how on social media early this afternoon Becky had to apologise, or felt she had to apologise, for not replying to coach booking emails
after 4:30
because she had to go and manage the bar ahead of tonight's game. That's the sort of commitment and hours that she puts in, and huge credit. Every club at this level and lower run on the strength of its volunteers, and I know everybody thinks that their volunteers are the best, and every club probably has a Becky Morris or a Chris Watts or whoever, but it's times like these when you fully appreciate what our particular hardy band of volunteers, whatever they do, it's at times like this when you appreciate exactly how much they do.
Exactly. Who'd ever thought Steve would say doo-doo on the radio? But there we go, online.
I've done a lot of things that I didn't thought I'd do on the radio.
Colin Hayden has confirmed flights are booked. That's the good news. And the bad news, he's on the same flight as Lindsay Morrish. Unlucky Colin. Yeah, I'm only kidding, of course. The pair of them were very welcoming towards me when I had a holiday in Tenerife a couple of summers ago, which is when I met them both for the first time. Good evening, or whatever time of day it is. I think it might be a little bit more daytime in Punta Cana, where Neil Hocking has just messaged me. He's got his headphones on and he's on his sun lounger, ready to listen to the game. And here come the teams at the EBB Stadium, home of Aldershot Town in North East Hampshire. And the two teams are getting a welcoming spray, actually, which is quite to everyone's amusement. Even the Aldershot Town Club official photographer Ian Morseman has just got an absolute soaking. But he's used to that, sitting around the edge. I mean, with no rain this evening.
In all weathers.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hardy character is Ian.
All right, let's get down to business. Welcome to our BBC Surrey online listeners. Welcome to those listening via the BBC Sport app, and welcome to our NLTV viewers, be they Shots fans, Pilgrims fans or neutrals. National League action, 13th placed Aldershot Town at home to 21st placed Boston United. Other than Barnet, Steve, the two most informed sides in the division. Quite remarkable marches for both sides, who picked up 20 points in that calendar month. And Boston, well, they may have lost their last couple of away games, but they won the 5 prior to that, and like the Shots, have won 7 of their last 11 matches in the National League. So we'll run through their lineup in just a moment. The Shots have made 5 changes this evening from Saturday's FA Trophy semi-final victory. They all come in the midfield and forward positions. So Dewhurst in goal, Woodhouse, Ellison and Armitage the back 3, and then we are guessing a little bit, but possibly Corbett, Hargreaves, Anderson and Frost across the middle, and then James Henry supporting Kwame Thomas and Ollie Bray in attack. And the Shots team go into a huddle, and we'll go through the Boston United lineup. Cameron Gregory in goal, and then a back 3 left to right of Brad Nicholson, Connor Teal and Zach Mills, the skipper. Across the middle, Cameron Green, Jordan Richards, Greg Sloggett and Jay Rowe. And then we're led to believe that Frankie Maguire and Dylan Hill will play in wide supporting forward positions for Jacob Hazel down the middle. Steve, no Knowles tonight for Boston. His return to the side has definitely coincided with some of their best form of the season. So
absolutely, yeah, he'll be a big miss this evening. But if Aldershot Town have any sort of Woking hangover, or they think they can coast through tonight because they've done enough, then they will get turned over, because this Boston team will not leave anything out there. They won't die wondering. They will give it a go, and they will throw the proverbial, almost the literal kitchen sink at Aldershot from the first kickoff. Their style under Graham Coughlin has been maybe primitive, you call it, but sure as heck it's effective.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you, Steve Gibbs, former Aldershot Town media manager, alongside myself, Rob Worrell. Boston are going to kick towards the East Bank end in the first half. They've got kick-off. They're playing in black and amber stripes, black shorts and amber socks. And the Shots are in their home kit of red and blue striped shirts, red shorts and red socks. Immediately Luca Woodhouse clears to touch and clears the roof of the south stand. It will be a throw in to Boston United over on the far side. Another ball has been called for. There are only 3 games in the National League tonight. Oldham are at home to Woking, who still need points to be certain of their position in the National League next season. And Sutton United against Rochdale, who've got more games left than anybody else and are already in a playoff position. Here's a long throw then from Boston, flicked on round the corner by another Boston player and then cleared away by Tyler Frost. Ollie Bray will chase that, and a good opening sprint, if you like, for him. Cameron Green always knew that was going to run out of pitch, and he takes the throw back to his namesake Cameron Gregory, whose return from injury this season has also coincided with that change in fortunes for Boston, and their record with him in the side is considerably better than their record without him in the side. And we just talked about what a magnificent run of form they've had in March. No doubt one of the two managers here, Graham Coughlin or Tommy Widrington, will be announced in the next few days as the March Manager of the Month for the National League. A little known fact, as Dewhurst runs across his own goal and then plays it out to Luca Woodhouse, who plays it short to Kai Corbett, playing on the left side of midfield again. Good skill by Woodhouse to get away from his man, and then a free kick he wins as well. But as Tommy alluded to in his post-match interview on Saturday, in his previous role as recruitment manager for Bristol Rovers, he appointed one Graham Coughlin as manager.
Yeah, football, it's a small world, isn't it?
It is.
It's a global game, but it's a small world, and absolutely, since he's come in to Boston, he's made a fantastic impact. And I at the moment, whatever the result tonight, I would back them to still be in the National League this time next year.
That's exactly what Tommy said, as long as their players stay fit, was his caveat to that. What there won't be is any sentiment on Tommy Widrington's part, as he's previously been quoted, if he was playing tiddlywinks against his daughter, he would be desperate to win. Absolutely. And so he's not going to allow sentiment to get in the way of that. We thought he'd freshen up the shots team tonight. He has done 5 changes, 5 players in the midfield and forward positions, champing at the bit to try and make sure that they're involved over the remaining 6 games, and of course in the game that will follow that Aldershot won't think about or talk about between now and the 11th of May, or certainly until after the final league game before that. Here's Ellison clearing the ball out to the left hand side. It'll find touch. It's a throw into Boston just inside their own half, and both sides, and might I say notably the shots, have negotiated the first 3.5 minutes without too much duress. I think there was always human nature was like, how will they start tonight? And I'd imagine there'd have been a lot of talk and their first touch, their first tackle, their first pass. There's a heavy touch from Armitage, but he recovers well, finds Ellison, who finds Woodhouse. Woodhouse very cleverly finds Henry. Henry's going to be dispossessed now very well by Greg Sloggett, who comes back into the Boston side tonight. Tyler Frost going back on this one, and we'll head it back to Marcus Dewhurst. 4 minutes gone. Aldershot Town 0, Boston United 0. And Boston United, of course, is surely Thomas's foul, but nothing's given. The ball runs to Bray. Bray wants a return pass from Frost, and now Bray will try and get a cross in. That's blocked, and Sloggett plays it back. It's cleared forward by Gregory, and then a little push in the back from Will Armitage. Basically shoved Frankie Maguire onto the ball, which led to a rather obvious free kick for Boston United, and Tommy Widrington plays ball boy and throws the ball back to the Boston number 17, Brad Nicholson, with the top knot, and well, it's behind really, isn't it, but hair tied up behind him. He's going to take this free kick for Boston. Everybody else other than his keeper now in the Aldershot half. Diagonal out to the right hand side. Header won by Woodhouse, but he can only send it straight into the path of a Boston player. They send it inside. Hazel's trying to make room for a shot and couldn't. It was Hill who got him away. Now Cameron Green's coming down the left hand side trying to get his cross in, and Cameron Hargreaves is onto it, sends it away, but again it's going to be a Boston player, Jordan Richards, that gets onto it, and now Woodhouse clears away. Ollie Bray gets a little header on it, but Nicholson's in charge of that. He'll go back to Gregory. Gregory plays it out to Connor Teal. Boston move it around the back. Eventually Zach Mills. He's playing on the left side of the three, actually, with Nicholson in the middle and Teal on the right, which was different to what the BBC Lincolnshire guys suspected, but that's okay. Sometimes we had to estimate the Aldershot shape, but I'm glad to say we got it bang on, didn't we?
Yes.
With Corbett playing out on the left as he did so well last Tuesday against Fylde. Frost into what was one of his more original positions, played so many for the Shots, on the right side of midfield, replacing the skipper. And then Bray playing up front alongside Kwame Thomas. Aldershot for probably one of the few times this season with two tall strikers.
Yeah, target men are not really Tommy Widrington's style, but I think particularly against this Boston team where they're so physical, so strong, it's the right sort of game for them.
Here's a good battle as Aldershot are slightly dispossessed. Hazel sends a ball into the middle. It'll go through to Dewhurst for a slight deflection, and Dewhurst throws it out quickly to James Henry, who chests it down and into space. Toes it out wide to Kai Corbett. Corbett goes back through the middle. One or two sort of odd or heavy touches, but largely Aldershot up to the level that they'll need all evening tonight. There's a flick on for Kwame Thomas, looking for Bray, touches it inside to James Henry, just has to slow himself down. Now he'll spray it out to the right hand side to Tyler Frost. Jay Rowe in the starting lineup. He's the second top scorer for Boston, and it wouldn't take a rocket scientist to work out that he's a major threat from set pieces. He's got forward and scored so many headed goals in recent times,
and particularly from Nicholson's long throw. We've seen a couple of examples of that this evening, a couple of sighters. If he can get the full distance on that throw, it's a major weapon, and Aldershot Town will have to be wary of it.
Here's a ball out to the right side, which is won in the air by Kai Corbett. Gyro, of course, formerly were the red and blue of Aldershot for a brief period. And if I remember rightly, he trained with a championship squad in the summer. I think it was Swansea City, I'm not 100% sure, but he trained with a much higher level club, but he didn't get a contract there, and he did re-sign for Boston United, and he's had an excellent season. In comes the throw now from the right hand side into the area. It's half cleared, follow-up shot comes in, and it's a sizzler, and it just whizzes through the corridor of uncertainty. I think it was Zach Mills, you know.
I think it was Maguire.
The 22, Frankie Maguire, beg your pardon, I thought I saw 23.
But yeah, he caught it sweetly, whoever it was.
Yeah, scored a cracking goal in the last week or so as well.
Yeah, there was Nicholson's long throw in full effect. Shots only half clearing it. Decent effort.
Thomas doing well once, not once but twice, but then Henry can't keep it long enough, and it is Zach Mills who comes away with it, plays it up to Maguire. Lovely back heel from him, but Ellison's read that well. Slots it down the right side for Frost to chase. Aldershot half clear. Hazel sends it out to Maguire. Maguire down the line and off of it, Armitage. So it'll be a corner, the first one of the evening, to the Pilgrims. 9.5 minutes in. We'll pretty much be approaching the 10th minute by the time this one is sent into the area. 0-0, but a lively start. Both sides looking to shift it from one end to the other quite quickly and catch the other one slacking. Okay then, corner to Boston at the East Bank end. It's to the far post where it's headed up and away, and then half cleared, and a shot comes in. It's half cleared again, and then fully cleared, comes back in, stopped by Dewhurst, and a follow-up shot from Frankie Maguire cannons off the feet of the on-rushing either Frost or Anderson, and goes behind for a second corner to Boston. And one way or another, shots keeping the ball out, Steve.
Yeah, Marcus Dewhurst, evasive action, diving. I'm not sure whether he actually made a save or it was a defender in front of him. In the end, it was Keane Anderson who threw his body in front of that fierce shot from Maguire, the second one in a matter of minutes. And Boston really dangerous from set pieces, and you can see why.
Okay, Frankie Maguire it is. It's going to take another right-footed in-swinging corner. And a bus stop cue now forming, but it's played short to Cameron Green. He gives it back to him. Ball comes into the near post, headed away. Boston will pick it up on the edge of the area, and then a swing and a miss from Kwame Thomas, but Bray sends it forward. Henry can only head it round the corner. It'll go back to Dylan Hill, who's very deep. Sends it out to the right side. Hazel hooks it on. Armitage heads it away. Hazel's got it again. Flicked away now by Hargreaves' head, and then eventually it comes back into the shots penalty area, and Dewhurst's the only one in there. A lively start from the visitors, Steve, as we possibly anticipated.
Yeah, front foot, aggressive, really positive, looking for those set pieces which have been so prolific and so productive for them in recent weeks, and certainly the shots will know they've been in a 90 minutes.
Already. With 12,
it feels like it already.
Yeah, it might do. Yeah, 12 minutes gone. There's Frost playing it through the middle. And it's cut out by Nicholson. Hammered forward by Cameron Green. Chased down by Ellison, whose touch will take it out of play. Throw into Boston halfway inside the Aldershot half, and they take this one quickly. Sloggett plays it back to Green. They don't look, of course, as we expected after their recent form. They don't look like a bottom four side at all, do they? Here's Bray chasing against Nicholson. He goes all the way back to the keeper Gregory, who shifts it inside, clears it forward with his right foot. Good headed winner from Luca Woodhouse, but he can only find the number 19 Jordan Richards. He sends it forward down the right side, and Marcus Dewhurst comes to the edge of his area to pick up the ball. And it remains 0-0, 12.5 minutes gone here in North East Hampshire at the EBB home of Aldershot Town, who are taking on the Pilgrims of Boston United tonight. Little flick on, being chased by Bray. He won't get there, nor will Gregory. It'll go away behind the goal away to our right. And as the clock strikes 13 minutes, it will be a goal kick to Boston United. The shots, because of the other games that are on tonight, will actually climb to 11th with a win. And I think with a draw, they'll stay where they are, but it would be another useful point to their total. And Boston United will climb out of the bottom four if they get a win this evening.
I think if they draw as well, if they avoid defeat, then yeah, it puts that extra pressure on Woking and Dagenham immediately above them.
Interestingly, this time last midweek, for the first time in will feel like months if not weeks, Boston United finally went into a game that they probably felt they didn't need to win at Wealdstone, and came unstuck. Lost 1-0. Alex Reid with the goal. And obviously I wasn't there. I spoke to Christian James, who I do a podcast with, and who often co-commentates for BBC Lincolnshire. He's here as a fan over the other side tonight, but he gave us his account on the game. So I'm not sure how much that psychology played a part that night. But all of a sudden, when you get yourself out of the bottom four and then you're playing the team that's immediately behind you, a draw is a very good result.
It is.
And I'm not saying they aimed for it, but they didn't get that. And the good news for Boston, of course, is that they still have to play Wealdstone at home in a few weeks' time. So if they can win that one, they'll be above Wealdstone. Again, depending on other results in the meantime. They're going to have another long throw now in the meantime. In fact, they send it down the right side towards Maguire. The ball ends up in touch. I think it was Corbett just following in behind the Boston player that poked it into touch, and I wonder if this time they will send it all the way in. They do, to the edge of the area. It's chested down, and then good work from Luca Woodhouse to tow it into space. Now he'll send it up towards halfway, where Bray will chase, but Boston win the header, and they're onto the loose ball as well. Hargreaves comes in, puts a little bit of pressure. on Boston. They clear it to touch. It'll now be a throw in to Aldershot, 5 or 10 yards inside their own half. Corbett will take and finds Hargreaves, who helps it on towards Kwame Thomas. He's holding it up, looking to turn his man and get away from him. His man is Connor Teal. He's still got the ball. Plays it to Bray. Bray now plays it back down the line to Corbett, who shifts it on again to Hargreaves. And Aldershot knocking it around the back three. Hargreaves, I beg your pardon, sends it to Armitage, but Armitage has briefly dwelt on it. He's been robbed by Maguire. Maguire then is stopped by a combination of Armitage and Frost. Frost plays it down the line. Bray helps it on, but can only help it into the path of Brad Nicholson. He goes back to Cameron Gregory. Gregory launches out to the right hand side. Corbett should win that one in the air. He does. Heavy touch from the Boston number 12, Jay Rowe. Boston now coming inside. Hazel. Maguire touches it back in. Return ball looking for Hazel. Dewhurst's come out. Slight contact. Hazel goes down, and referee Sam Mulhall shakes his head. Steve, what did you think?
Not a penalty. I think Hazel is looking for it.
He's looking for it a little bit too much, was he? They got
Yeah.
a penalty in the home game, didn't they? I remember Mag Homer was behind Hazel, and he got his arms round him, and
that one was a penalty. This one, not. Whether there was any contact or not, Hazel was looking for it, went down far too easily for me.
referee was well positioned. I think he was about 10 or 12 yards behind the play, had a good view of it, a lot nearer to it than we are. You never know with penalties. There were two here on Saturday. One was a stone wall one we saw where it back the handball from the Woking player. The other one was debatable when Frost did really well, and he won the kind of penalty Aldershot have had a couple given against him this season, where an attacking player very late arrives to the scene and gets there and draws a swinging leg. Whether there was contact or not, I'm not 100% sure, and the referee gave that. So you never quite know. There's a flick on from Kwame Thomas. Bray is chasing it. Cameron Green will clear it out to the left side. It'll find touch. And I'd say without either side creating too much in the way of clear-cut chances, it's been a lively start. Perhaps the visitors just shade in the opening 18 minutes. The shots yet to create a clear-cut chances. They're giving it away again. And again it's Frankie Maguire who's dispossessed, but Armitage does well. Holds Maguire off, sends it down the line, finds Kwame Thomas. Hold up play from him. Lovely ball out to the left side. It's got to be chased actually by Luca Woodhouse. But exemplary hold up play from the shots number 39. Here's Hargreaves bombing through the middle, plays it to James Henry. Henry just holds up the play as 3 or 4 players were bombing forward in front of him. And Aldershot keep possession through Corbett, through Keane Anderson and through Luca Woodhouse. He goes back to Ellison, who will find Armitage here, and Armitage is just fouled from behind, just nudged by Maguire, who holds his hands out to protest his innocence. I certainly don't think he did it deliberately, but he just caught the heels of Armitage. Here's Hargreaves finding Armitage. He finds Frost, sends it inside to Bray. Little flick round the corner, who's looking for Henry behind him, couldn't find him. Boston clear away to the left hand side, and Luca Woodhouse will let that run into touch. We've got with the golden goals, I've got 78 and you've got 51 tonight, very kindly treated to them by Mr. Gibbs. The chances in any game at this ground, the first goal being that deep into the game, would seem somewhat unlikely, but we have almost now completed 20 minutes without one tonight.
We have, yeah. I think Boston have started the game better. Aldershot Town need to be wary. We saw Keane Anderson getting robbed by Maguire, who has started the game superbly. One big feature of this Boston resurgence has been their pressing. They're winning the ball higher up the pitch far more often than they did under Ian Culverhouse, and that's bore dividends, brought directly goals in a few of their games recently, and Aldershot Town need to be wary of conceding possession in really dangerous areas.
Kwame Thomas has just gone down almost halfway inside the Boston half. For the benefit of our online listeners, he thought he'd been fouled Referee Sam Mulhall said no, he caused the foul, and it's a free kick to Boston. Couple of hellos. Gary Michael D, good evening. He says work prevents him from being here tonight. And a good evening to Paul Bertie Reynolds as well. Here's Boston with a high long ball forward. Hazel flicks it on, but there's an offside given against Boston. Huge hit from Dewhurst. One in the air by Boston, helped on by Green. Should go through to Woodhouse. He cushions the header inside, which Keane Anderson's onto, and he manages to spread the ball out to the right side, where Frost takes control, sends it inside to Armitage. Boston working extremely hard out of possession and really well. Henry's just given it away in the middle there, heavy touch from him, and then Kwame Thomas this time wins the foul. James Henry's been superb for shots this season, and he's had limited game time of late. I think he's had calf and hamstring issues. Started tonight, which surprised me a little, seeing the battering he kind of took, and he was kind of limping around the bar a little bit after the game on Saturday. That might just be being 35, I guess.
I think so, yeah. It's probably tight muscles after such a physically taxing game, and mentally taxing as well, I'm sure, but great to see him out there again this evening, and hopefully no risk involved in that selection.
Almost halfway through the first half, goalless, but here's a free kick in from Corbett, headed away by Boston. Luca Woodhouse will pounce on the loose ball and send it back to Hargreaves, who sends an early ball in. Ellison goes for it and gets something on it, but a little bit of something on Jairo as well. And it's a free kick to Boston inside their own penalty area, exactly halfway through the first half. Aldershot Town 0, Boston United 0, and here's the Aldershot Town, the former Aldershot Town media officer Steve Gibbs.
Yeah, it was a shame that somebody didn't gamble on running to the far post there, because all of the players in black, gold, red, blue, whatever colour, they'd all gravitated towards the near post, and as the ball broke through, there was an almighty space on the edge of the 6-yard box waiting to be filled, and the ball waiting to be lashed into the net. In the end, that was all irrelevant because the whistle went, but you've got to gamble and take those chances.
Shots have got the ball in midfield with Corbett, who's just drifted inside at the moment. He feeds Hargreaves. Hargreaves exchanges passes with Frost and then goes back, but he's going to be dispossessed by Hazel. Hazel running diagonally in towards the area. Goes back to Richards. Richards still on the ball. Boston probing. 23 and a half minutes gone here, and good tackle in the end from Hargreaves to win the ball. Comes off him though and goes into touch. Throw in taken down the line by Green to Hazel, who shifts away from his man, squares it across the area. 1-2s on the edge of the box. Jairo turns, making his way out to the right. Can he get the ball in? It's been dispossessed by Kai Corbett. Corbett sends it forward to Bray, who gets the flick on, but that will be cleared away by Zach Mills and turned around the corner by Boston. I think it might just drift out of play. No, Maguire keeps it in. Ellison clears it to touch. And for every ounce of energy that Aldershot Town are expending, Boston look as if they've got some in reserve.
They do, yeah, and that is one of their key things. They give it 100%. They're not going to leave anything out there this evening. They've got to give it all. And yeah, Hazel again pressing Cameron Hargreaves, winning the ball back high up the pitch. Aldershot Town surely should be wary of that.
Boston setting up for another long throw in from the right. Dewhurst comes, punches it away. It's flicked around the corner by Henry, but again, Boston the best position to pick it up with Maguire. Maguire overhits it. It'll be a throw into Aldershot in the left back position, approaching the 25-minute mark. 0-0 here, but there has been a goal in the National League. And it's come at Boundary Park, and it's come for the home side. Kian Harrott with the goal in the 3rd minute, actually. Oldham 1, Woking 0. Here's Boston winning the ball from Aldershot's throw. Hazel's got it under control on the edge of the area, tries a shot, it's always rising. And the only player on the pitch who's had any kind of effort on goal so far in the opening 25 minutes is Hazel, who scored the win. No, not the winning, but the equalising goal up at Boston. I think it was well deserved on the day for Boston as well. Aldershot didn't quite perform to their best in that game.
No,
Boston were down on their luck at the time. They hadn't won at home still all season.
Yeah, and that could turn out to be a really valuable point. And yeah, Aldershot took the lead through Josh Barrett and didn't really kick on from there. But I think to a large extent that was credit to Boston's own performance.
Funnily enough, I mentioned that on that day, going forward, Aldershot just didn't get it going at all. Now tonight they've made a lot of changes, including all those forward positions. And despite having the physical presence of Thomas and Bray up top, they can't quite get their coordination together going forward tonight either. There's a ball through the middle. Hazel playing like an absolute battering ram tonight for Boston, the top scorer for the Pilgrims. There's a ball around the corner from Cameron Green. Henry's battling away, and well, the free kick's been given to Aldershot and to Henry. The last thing I saw there was Henry kind of pulling, but I think he was pulling back in retaliation. I think perhaps before that the Boston player must have committed the first foul.
Yeah, I think it was maybe slightly more 6 of one and half a dozen of the other in favour of Greg Sloggett, who was the Boston player penalised. And yeah, I think they were both trying to gain some purchase from the other, but Sloggett was slightly more the aggressive party.
This time last Tuesday, Fylde came here and asked a lot of questions in the opening half an hour, but couldn't breach the Aldershot town goal. And it's been a similar story so far this evening, as that ball's, well, the players more competed with each other, which meant the ball ran past the pair of them and ended up into touch, which I think is what was Kai Corbett's intention in the first place. Takes his throw back down the line. Woodhouse skips inside Hazel. I don't know if Hazel can keep up the work rate with which he started this game this evening. Phenomenal work rate. Here's a ball through the middle for Boston. Maguire's picked it up on the edge of the final third again, squares it. Hargreaves is chasing it. Boston help it on out to the right hand side. J. Rowe in the end plays it all the way back to Cameron Gregory, and the press in there from the shots draws a bit of applause from Tommy Widrington. Boston clear towards halfway. Good headed winner by Tyler Frost, and then a good battle between Sloggett and Kwame Thomas. Bray's onto the loose ball here, and a good recovery from Brad Nicholson, because Bray very nearly got away and towards goal there.
Yeah, it was so very nearly for Ollie Bray, but yeah, Brad Nicholson just desperately but successfully.
Good layoff from Henry, finds Frost. Frost tries a ball around the corner and that's cut out. And now through Dylan Hill. Boston play it forward. It's already been dispossessed though, and now Ellison and Woodhouse have got it. Ball inside to Hargreaves. It's in a bit of a tight spot. Ends up having a look all round. Woodhouse tries to clear, and again it's shut down by Boston, working as hard as any team I've seen here all season. And that's what you do when you're in the middle of the run that they're in at the moment. 20 points picked up in March, of course. Couple of defeats on the road recently, but 5 wins is well away from home in recent weeks. And it's worth noting that in their push towards the end of last season, under different management of course, they won all their games away from home. Here's Aldershot coming forward with Henry finding Frost on the right side. Shot comes in, is blocked behind by Cameron Green, and Aldershot Town have got their first corner of the match in the 30th minute, 0-0.
Yeah, I think he did the right thing, Tyler Frost, aimed it across goal towards that far post, but Cameron Green was just as aware of what Frost was going to do and was more than equal to it. And yeah, good chance for the shots to put the ball into the mixer, but you'd probably say that there are a few big lads in both teams, but physically, aerially, you'd say Boston have the advantage.
Aldershot getting it all wrong from their own corner as Corbett tried to re-find James Henry. Boston clear it forward. They had everybody back, so Frost's now going to send it right to the edge of the area. Flick on by Ellison, and then Bray somehow plays it backwards, but Keane Anderson heads it into the path of Henry, who sends it out wide right to Corbett. Corbett up against his man, going one way then the other, and then he's standing it up, and it'll be caught at the near post. Great effort at the last moment by Bray to take it. I think he's ended up heading excuse me, the hands of Cameron Gregory, who stuck them out to catch it. His big pair of hands, big gloves on, and I think a bit of whiplash probably for Ollie Bray, who might just need a little bit of attention here. 31 minutes gone, 0-0. Yeah, not quite the set piece that Aldershot were trying to pull off there.
No, Corbett almost did too well, beating his man 4 or 5 times before chipping the cross to the near post, and then Ollie Bray appears from nowhere from behind Gregory, who did well to keep a hold of it. And it was a real physical challenge from Bray, and so physical that he's hurt himself. But yeah, solid goalkeeping from Gregory. But I think Corbett maybe should have put the ball in a little bit earlier and a little bit deeper, and then maybe Aldershot Town might have had more of a chance.
It's probably a sign of how little Ollie Bray's played, that after his treatment he went to run back onto the pitch and then realised he'd got to come off. He's fine. I think it might have just been caught by a stray finger from the glove or something of Cameron Gregory, who's going to restart play here on the edge of his own penalty area. 32 minutes gone, and a game with high intensity but very few goal-bound efforts so far. Sends it out to the right side. Corbett wins it, but it's flicked on round the corner by Hazel. Luca Woodhouse is well placed. He's protecting the ball at the minute. He's slipped away from his man, then half cleared it, and then he completes the job with his right foot, and he manages to find Tyler Frost, who brings it down nicely. He finds Henry back to Keane Anderson down the right side and finds touch. And it'd be interesting to be a fly on the wall in the dressing room at half time to see what Tommy thinks of this first half. Aldershot been nowhere near their best, but they have been competitive and combative, and that is probably, he would say, the minimum he would expect of his
Absolutely,
team.
yeah. I said before kick-off that if Aldershot Town think that they can have a night off, then Boston will want it more.
Never going to think that, are they? Not under Tommy Widrington.
No,
I think
but Boston would want it more, and that is unacceptable for Tommy.
Exactly. Throw in to Boston, halfway inside the Shots half, in fact a bit further up than that, almost level with the edge of the penalty area. We're in the 34th minute, it's goalless if you just joined us. Jacob Hazel with the only 2 efforts of the evening towards goal in the 17th and 25th minute. One was blocked, one was a rising shot over the bar, and the shots have yet to register any kind of effort on the Boston goal. Ball comes into the area. Henry heads it clear, catches the referee Sam Mulhall, and he will now have to restart play, giving possession to the side who had the ball. Sam Mulhall has made 9 refereeing appearances in the National League this season and shown 47 yellow cards and 1 red. He's also refereed in the FA Cup, League 1, League 2, Premier League 2 and the EFL trophies. He's been a busy boy. He's averaged 4 yellow cards a game across all those competitions. Here's Boston winning the ball on halfway. It's played forward, and now Dylan Hill's coming down the right hand side. Huge ball over, easily caught by Dewhurst, who takes a little buffeting from Jacob Hazel before launching it early towards Bray, who can't get the header. It'll bounce once and it will go all the way through to Cameron Gregory. Worth mentioning, as Christian James always tells me, that Marcus Dewhurst was on loan at Boston once and played a key part in a playoff campaign, and was very, very popular. He even asked me if he was a permanent signing here. I said absolutely, and I think he's got a 2-year contract, so hands off.
Yes, you're not having him.
No, exactly not. Although they have a tremendous keeper in Cameron Gregory. There's a backwards header from Aldershot, cleared away by Armitage. Was Kwame Thomas held there? Well, nothing was given. Boston sent it out to the right hand side. It finds touch. Hill can't keep it in. Aldershot will restart with a throw. If it ended up being a very combative 0-0 tonight, I don't think it'd be the worst result in the world for either side. I mean, there's no doubt Boston, who haven't drawn, by the way, in 10 away games, Steve, certainly want to go for the win. And based on the recent results, both sides will clearly be hell-bent on trying to win the game. But another point to the total for either side won't do them any harm. Here's a ball through the middle. Strong defensive play from Armitage. He comes away with the ball and then might have been fouled. Keane Anderson helps it on its way, but again it's going to come back through Nicholson. Ball around the corner. Hazel's in the penalty area. Tries the shot. Cleared away by the feet of Dewhurst. And then a free kick to Aldershot as Frost is fouled by Cameron Green. And I'm not sure if Hazel's effort was goal bound, but if I had to put my life on it, I'd say it was just going wide, but Dewhurst stuck out a leg and cleared it anyway.
Yeah, considering it's Jacob Hazel who's having a fantastic season in front of goal, he didn't look the most confident player, the most decisive player. It was a fantastic pass from Nicholson to set Hazel through, but he didn't seem to have that predatory instinct in front of goal that you'd think a striker who's got that many goals would.
Bray. He's in the penalty area, squares it, and it comes off of James Henry, who makes a late burst into the penalty area, and it just hits him and goes behind the goal out of play rather than him perhaps steering an effort. But it's probably the nearest the shots have come to goal in the 37th minute, 0-0.
Yeah, it was
great bit of skill from Bray.
It was, yeah. And yeah, I think James Henry couldn't get control of that ball as deftly as he would have needed, and in the end could really only bundle it wide. But a rare moment of attacking promise for Aldershot Town this evening.
But most importantly, their sheet is still clean and they're still in the game. But again, they've been dispossessed in midfield. Again, it's Maguire now coming forward. Cameron Green sends it out to the left side where Jacob Hazel gets there first, holds it up, sends it back inside to Sloggett. Sloggett's forced backwards, and Richards under pressure sends it back to Nicholson. Frost has cleared it away. Henry's onto it, plays it back to Frost. Frost inside to Keane Anderson. He sends it down the right channel. Bray will chase that. Gregory should get there first. He heads it into touch. Throw into the shots down by the corner flag. Into the 39th minute. Still goalless here at the EBB. Not many games this season have reached half-time at 0-0 here. There are a few, but they are few and far between. And there are, of course, still 6.5 minutes, plus whatever's added left in the first half here. Frost is going to take this throw. Keane Anderson showing the most movement. Henry now switches with him, plays it inside to Bray. Bray, little deft touch, thinking Henry might ghost onto that. Cleared forward by Boston, and then a couple of headers, and Woodhouse can't quite clear it, or Hargreaves gets a key touch on it. Corbett drifts onto it, and Hargreaves clears forward. It'll come back from the head of Richards. Ball inside, and no foul given. Very competitive in the middle there. Woodhouse clears through it. Nicholson heads it forward. Maguire can't get onto it, and it goes all the way through to Marcus Dewhurst. Going to be an interesting one tactically at half time to see how the managers approach it with their shape and their tactics, just to try and steal a march. Here's Maguire holding it up again. What great strength he's got for a little man. He twists, turns, gets away from Armitage. Armitage fouls him. Whittington has a word with the referee. The referee very kindly ignores him. And it'll be a free kick to Boston on halfway. Green takes it, sends it up to Maguire, who sends it inside to Sloggett. Little triangles from Boston. Maguire twisting, turning, manages to find Green. Green plays the ball out to the left hand side. It's being chased by Dylan Hill. Comes off of Hill by all accounts, and it is a throw into Aldershot in the right back position. And certainly just trying to find their feet again after such an emotional high on Saturday. I would argue that 0-0 at half-time is not a bad scoreline for Aldershot Town.
Absolutely no. I think considering the way Boston have been very aggressive on the front foot, not allowing Aldershot Town any time on the ball, I think, Shots will be happy, or at least not entirely dissatisfied with 0-0 at the break. They need to lift it, but to answer your question, I don't think Boston need to change much at all.
No, they've been superb in this first half without creating too many. Ellison clears to touch as Maguire arrives a little bit late, kind of trips over his leg, but the ball's already in touch. It's still goalless between Sutton and Rochdale, and it's still 1-0 to Oldham against Woking. There's a lovely turn from Maguire. He's going to send the ball into the far post. Hazel steers it towards goal, and it's stopped and then snaffled by Dewhurst, and we're in the rather bizarre position where Boston have had 4 attempts on goal in the first half, and they've all come from Jacob Hazel, whose goal at Boston was a thing of beauty, wasn't it? He absolutely sizzled it in from a tight angle. Similar to the chance he had his third chance this evening. They've all been half chances, to be fair. I wouldn't have said that in any case would you expected him to score.
No, although I think he would have felt that he should have done better with that chance. I think he was, as I said at the time, he looked a little bit indecisive, a little bit not the sort of striker that scored as many goals as he has this season. You'd think of him to put the laces through it across goal. In the end, rather limply, he just went for the near post.
Here's Boston coming forward, but Shots have cut it out. Corbett does well, finds Henry. Nice touch and control from him. And Keane Anderson sends it out to the right side, where Frost chases the ball. And he rides the tackle of Cameron Green. He carries on to the edge of the area. Now he's got some support. It's all arriving late at the same time. Keane Anderson tries a shot from distance. Deflects, I think, off of James Henry and goes behind for a goal kick, but Keane Anderson's had the first effort on or towards goal of the evening from the Shots in the 43rd minute.
I think it was James Henry that the ball hit. Henry was trying to either make a decoy run or go for the return ball. In the end, I think it smacked the back of his head. Good effort from Keane though, and he has started well as well. Keane Anderson back in the side after being cup tied. I think he's continuing the promise that he's shown in his fledgling Shots career.
That's Steve Gibbs, I'm Rob Worrell, and you're either listening to BBC Radio Surrey online or via the BBC Sport app or watching on NLTV. Welcome wherever you are and whoever you support. Here's Hargreaves in the centre of midfield. Realises there's nothing too much on to the left of him, so plays it out to the right to Armitage. Armitage goes back to Frost. Frost down the line, I beg your pardon, inside, cleared away by Nicholson. Little flick on by Dylan Hill, and then Woodhouse has snaffled it and gone back to Dewhurst. Dewhurst going to kick long out to the right, but despite having Thomas and Bray out there, neither of them are anywhere near it. Brave jump from Maguire in front of Armitage. Ellison shows good composure, but the ball doesn't go twice where it's intended, and then a good ball inside from Frost finds Keane Anderson. He shifts it further left to Woodhouse. Woodhouse, lovely ball out to the left, breaking through the lines. Corbett just manages to keep it in, shifts it inside onto his right foot, sends across into the area. Nicholson steps forward and heads it away. Woodhouse slips, recovers. Dylan Hill's got it, plays it up to Hazel. Hazel, ball around the corner. Aldershot should get to that first. They do through Dewhurst. Sends it down the left channel. Thomas can't win the first header, but is then battering Ram and brings it down. He's got a man to the right of him. Finds, good turn from Bray. Frost's in. Frost scores in off the post. And right on the last minute of the first half, player of the month, Tyler Frost, scores. Aldershot Town 1, Boston United 0.
Personal redemption for Tyler Frost after the nightmare Saturday that he endured. An excellent finish, good build-up as well. Kwame Thomas doing what Kwame Thomas was brought back to the club to do, to be that physical striking presence, that target man role, and he did it really well, making himself a nuisance. And then Frost doing what maybe a couple of other strikers should have done already this evening, putting their foot through the ball, going for the far post, hitting it low and true, in off that post, into the net. Harsh on Boston, who I think have been the better side and have created by far the more opportunities this half, but they've not taken them. Tyler Frost has.
Do you know what? This is almost a blueprint of last Tuesday evening's game, where Fylde was so impressive in the first half. The shots kept them out and scored in the few minutes before half time. They've done so again. Now they've got a minute or so additional time to negotiate, to make sure that they get in with that sheet still clean. Keane Hansen sends the ball out to the left. Corbett can't get there. Throw into Boston. They'll probably get a few bodies forward here.
Yeah, how many times have we said that the opposite way around, that the shots have started really well but not taken their chances, and then they fall to the sucker punch? And it's really pleasing from a shots perspective that 2 Tuesdays running it has happened to Aldershot Town.
And they've given it away here through Nicholson to find Kwame Thomas. Bray's just strayed offside, I think. The assistant referee was running to catch up, so he didn't see it as clearly as we did. We were bang level and Bray was just offside. Shots have actually ended up going backwards. They're trying to keep possession just to get through to half time, and the referee now does bring the whistle to his lips. And well done, Aldershot Town, staying in the game against a very lively Boston United in the first half, and then getting a rare moment with a man over in the dying seconds. Good work from Kwame Thomas, who tried to head the ball on, ended up then chasing his own attempt to get on the ball, sending it across, I think possibly looking for Bray. Bray couldn't get control of it. It carried on beyond him to Frost. Frost was in, albeit at a tight angle, and whilst I didn't see the ball go in off the post, it did cannon back across the goal, so I think it must have hit the inside of the post. And most importantly, the net then began to ripple. Shots won, Boston United 0 at half time. Yeah,
I think Boston were really good for the maybe the first quarter of the game. weren't able to keep those standards going, but have still been impressive. They will go into the dressing room feeling a little bit hard done by, but football isn't fair. You've got to take your chances, and if you don't, you will be punished. Aldershot Town have been played a little bit within themselves, but for the final minute or two of the half found themselves again. Really good play from Kai Corbett down the left, then build up with Kwame Thomas and Ollie Bray both involved physically, and Tyler Frost finding the right finish at the right time. Boston will feel they're not out of this by any means yet. They've got the spirit. They've been everything that you expect they would be. They've been aggressive, strong, direct, pressing, trying to disrupt, not allowing the opposition time to settle on the ball, and then they're fighting for it. If they continue to do that, then they've definitely got a chance to take at least 1, if not 3 points from this game. The Shots now need to use that goal as the catalyst for a second half performance. There hasn't really been much of a first half to speak of, but now they've got the goal, use that to bring the confidence and the panache back to their play.
That's Steve Gibbs. Half time's elsewhere. Well, they haven't quite reached half time, but it's Oldham 1, Woking 0, and Sutton 0, Rochdale 0 as it stands. 1-0 to the Shots here, and no sign of an after the Lord Mayor show performance from the Shots. They've definitely not been anywhere near their best, but they have been combative. They've been at the level in terms of competing for the ball all over the pitch, and Boston, a little bit like Fylde a week earlier, a little bit unfortunate to go in a goal down at the break, but that is the score. And Steve Gibbs and myself will just take a break now over half time. We'll be back with you in about 10 or 12 minutes for the second half. Shots 1, Pilgrims 0 at the break.
The
Welcome back to the EBB for the second half of this National League fixture. Aldershot Town against Boston. It's 1-0 to the Shots at half time. And Steve, I don't know about you, but I can't quite believe how quickly that half time's just gone.
Yeah, it has. It's about 15 minutes.
Well, I remember looking at my phone just after the half-time whistle. It was about 35. It's now 48, so it's not even 15 minutes now.
Okay, yeah.
But we are about to get underway for the second half. James Henry will have kick-off for the Shots. Can't see any changes for either side. So the Shots will line up as follows: Dewhurst in goal, Woodhouse, Ellison and Armitage the back three, Corbett, Hargreaves, Anderson and Frost across the middle, Henry supporting Thomas and Bray in attack. As Keane Anderson sends the ball forward, Bray inside, cleared forward by Boston, headed away a couple of times by Armitage, then hooked over the top and through the middle by Boston. Dewhurst is out of his goal and clears up towards halfway. The ball bounces into touch. Boston line up as follows: Cameron Gregory in goal, Nicholson, Teal and Mills the back three, Cameron Green, Jordan Richards, Greg Sloggett and Jay Rowe, with Maguire and Hill supporting Hazel in attack. 32 seconds into the second half, and Tyler Frost, the goal scorer, coming down the right, sends it into the middle. Thomas can't get onto that, and Jay Rowe will touch it back to Gregory. First time clearance from him, inadvertently headed on by Ellison, and into touch for a Boston throw. Almost level with the edge of the Aldershot Town penalty area, which Brad Nicholson's coming forward to take another one of his long throws.
Yeah. Tommy Widrington was appealing for offside, but I suspect if it came off Dan Ellison's head,
it did.
That'll
be the
not
reason
in play.
why. Right, Kai Corbett's marking J Rowe on the far post. We know that that's a regular area. There's a ball bouncing awkwardly. Dewhurst will get there. You might well just roll it out here. He's going to kick it from the edge of the area, straight down the middle for Bray to chase. Bray gets his head on it, holds it up, goes back to Corbett. Good hold-up play from the youngster. Corbett goes all the way back to Luca Woodhouse, and Woodhouse plays the ball through the middle to Keane Anderson, who looks both ways as he receives it, goes back to Hargreaves to Ellison, and Ellison out to this left side to Luca Woodhouse. He's just going to get over halfway now, send it inside to Keane Anderson. Hargreaves and Anderson exchange passes, and Anderson will roll it out to the right side to Tyler Frost. Frost inside to James Henry. Henry back to Frost, and then Frost forward, but that's looking for Bray, but it's cut out rather too easily. Sloggett sends it out to his left to Cameron Green, and then Nicholson sends it forward. Dewhurst comes to the edge of his area and heads it into touch. And if you are watching on NLTV and wondering why we're commentating on every pass, that's because we're also commentating for our online listeners who can't see the action as you can. Throw in to Boston, taken down the line, held up by Maguire. Quite a heavy touch, but he's still got it. Back out to Green. Green, full pirouette, then tries to get the ball in. It cannons back off James Henry. Shots starting with some of their finishers tonight. They'll probably finish with some of the starters, as it were, but some of them not involved at all tonight, namely Josh Barrett and Aaron Jones. The bench is Van Stappershoef, Theo Widrington, Dollahan, Mullins, Madja, Uwakwe and DT. In comes the throw from Boston, headed on. Corbett jumps, can't win it cleanly. Hargreaves clears forward, and Bray gets a very slight touch in front of Richards. Throw in is Boston's, and they send it quickly inside to Cameron Green. And what we talked about off air at half time, And you mentioned, to be fair, and you sum it up at the end of the first half, is there's no reason for Boston to change anything, and they've started the second half exactly as they played the first. High intensity. Here's a ball driven into the area and right through the corridor of uncertainty. And the man that has scored the most goals from this season, has had the most efforts in the game so far, went to ground but couldn't, agonisingly for the Pilgrims, find even the slightest touches which might have just steered it in. Steve Gibbs, Jacob Hazel.
Yeah, and Jay Rowe was coming in on it as well at the far post, but Hazel was best placed, favourite to get on the end of it. Probably a stud length away from getting a touch. But certainly Boston have started the second half as they played most of the first. High tempo, aggressive, in your face, on the front foot, trying to get the ball into the most dangerous areas as quickly as possible.
Strong header forward from Woodhouse, finds Bray, who takes it down and then turns into trouble, and Richards dispossesses him, sends the ball out to Cameron Green, but Frost is in the right place, wins the ball back. Lovely simple 1-2 from Keane Anderson, gives it back to Frost. Frost now back inside to Anderson, and all the way back to Armitage. He's blocked, cleared, his clearance is blocked, and Boston have got it again on the left side with Maguire. Maguire goes back to Cameron Green. Early ball in is easily enough taken out of the sky by Dewhurst. And 5 minutes of the second half has gone, and Dewhurst just hanging onto the ball because Luca Woodhouse momentarily was in some discomfort, but he doesn't need treatment. Dewhurst will kick out of his hands now, and Kwame Thomas will compete for the ball at the other end. Hargreaves loses out in the battle with Dylan Hill. Now he comes back to attack him again. Hill holding it up, and Hill plays it down the line. Dewhurst comes to the edge of his area, gets it, snaffles it, and then has to clear into touch. Otherwise he would have handballed it outside of his area, and it would have been the end of his evening, and shots would have been down to 10 men. So good, quick thinking. I would say on his feet, but he was on the ground at the time. Yeah,
good thinking on his knees. Hazel is telling the referee as vehemently as he can that Dewhurst did handle outside the box. It was certainly close if he wasn't actually outside the box, but yeah, in the end I think he did pretty well to release and clear without getting penalised.
Okay, another Brad Nicholson throw into the heart of the area. Ellison manages to head it away. Keane Anderson gets to the 50-50, sends it forward, chases his own pass, but Sloggett has picked it up in between Anderson and Henry, sends it inside to Zach Mills, who's well forward. Mills to Nicholson. Nicholson squares it across. Maguire's got it. Ball in, touched away, and Frost clears into touch. Boston with the throw, almost level with the edge of the Shots penalty area. 52 minutes gone. It remains Shots 1, Pilgrims 0. But the first half, or rather the second half, starting very similarly to how a lot of the first half played out, and also similar with the fact that Brad Nicholson is going to launch another ball in. Shots have dealt with him pretty well so far. This time it's played short to Maguire. Corbett does well, and he's pulled down by Maguire. Maguire says, I didn't touch him. Corbett runs away. Corbett got put in a really good performance on the left side of midfield last week, and he was unlucky actually not to score. Drew a really good save from the Fylde keeper. It's the only thing his performance was missing last week, wasn't it? And he's shown great endeavour and work rate again tonight.
He has, yeah, really good defensive awareness as well, which you wouldn't expect from a number 10 or a number 9. Yeah, I think he's done really well. To be fair as well, Boston wasted that opportunity. They had a chance to get the ball in the box, and in the end didn't take it. But yeah, Kai Corbett, the most unlikely left wing back, but at the moment a very good one.
Anderson tries the first time ball out looking for Frost. It's cut out by Boston, who play it forward. Maguire holds it up and plays it back to Richards, who overhits the ball straight through the middle all the way to Marcus Dewhurst. not that they will be, but if any player in a red and blue shirt tonight was looking for any sort of zone to coast through in this game, it's just not going to come, is it? Boston are not going to let up with their intensity all evening. They are desperate for a point or three. Here's Bray hunting for the loose ball, but it's played forward by Boston, headed away by Armitage, who exchanges passes with Frost, then sends it down the right side. That'll go straight into touch. I must mention, particularly for midweek, the number of Boston United fans here. It hasn't been given out yet, but I'd say it's possibly upwards of 150, which is very impressive for midweek.
Yeah, 150 was the number in my head. I think probably slightly more than that as well, but yeah, coming down from Lincolnshire on a Tuesday night, it's not a short journey.
It certainly isn't. I know that because it's even further north than where I come from. There's a ball into the area. Woodhouse heads it. I thought Woodhouse had headed that behind for a corner, and so did one or two of the Boston players. Maybe he headed it off of a Boston player, and it has been given as a goal kick. Dewhurst off to get it. Hazel, who hasn't stopped running all night, puts in another shift just to fetch the ball by the corner flag and send it back in to Dewhurst. 55 minutes gone now. Aldershot Town 1, Boston United 0.
Yeah, we're probably approaching the sort of time that Graham Coughlin would think about making any changes if he wants to, but I think he's probably going to be happy with the 11 that he's got on the pitch. They just need that final ball. They just need something to run for them. Need one of the nod downs from Nicholson's long throws to fall to an amber and black shirt rather than a red and blue one. But yeah, up until that final pass, they've been very good.
He's all shot with a throw on halfway down the line. It's cleared as far as Henry, who just holds it up and pokes it to Woodhouse. A little bobble on the ball, and he watches that carefully, sends it out to the right side to Corbett. Corbett will go back to Ellison. Ellison's going to chip it forward looking for Bray. Bray gets a flick on, but there's nobody behind him. When the shots have played it forward, and there's a foul by Hazel on Ellison. They've worked tremendously hard, but not necessarily, I'd say, too much as a pair, Bray and Thomas. They've been battling hard to win as many headers as they can. But is that a fair comment to say that they're battling hard, but they're a bit isolated from each other?
I think so, yeah, and it's perhaps understandable. They won't have played together, certainly in a competitive match situation, very much before, if at all. Perhaps in training, maybe this was in Tommy Widrington's mind, and he'd have paired them in training, and particularly it's not the sort of coherent game that Aldershot Town would have wanted.
Aldershot got it on the right side, Frost squares it, it's cleared behind by Cameron Green, corner to the shots. Just a hopeful ball sent out to the right hand side. Again, Kwame Thomas competing for it, and several times tonight he's not been able to win the first ball, but he doesn't switch off, and he's the first to react once it bounces loose.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Tommy would say. If you can't win it, react to that second ball. It's almost the second ball that's most important.
James Henry's over there and about to take this right-footed corner kick. In it comes, headed up and away by Brad Nicholson, sent back in by Hargreaves, cleared away then by Boston, headed back in by Frost. Ellison competes for it and slots it down to Henry. Henry shapes to put a cross in, ends up keeping the ball and plays it back to Woodhouse, who just cushions the header into the path of Ellison. Ellison for Henry. Henry lets it run by him. It's cleared away by Boston, but only as far as Hargreaves, who sends it out to the left side to Keane Anderson. He'll clip a ball back in. That's won by Mills. Cleared away by another Boston player. Comes off Hargreaves. Keane Anderson helps it out to the left side to Corbett, and Corbett shapes to go one way, then the other. Up against Richards. Plays it down to Henry. Henry sends it back to Corbett. Nice play. He sends it to Bray. Steps off it, gets a shot in. Oh, it's just tipped over the bar by Cameron Gregory, who's actually pulled off his first save of the evening in the 58th minute. Terrific effort from Ollie Bray, corner to the shots.
Really good fingertip save from Cameron Gregory, and Ollie Bray did really well. Initially feinted to go one way, then dropped his shoulder, went the other, really quick effort on the turn. Gregory barely had time to set himself, and I think without the fingertips that was heading somewhere near the crossbar, possibly inches underneath it.
We're in the 59th minute, towards the end of it. Still 1-0 to Shots. Here's Henry with the corner to the far post, headed down and away by Boston. Helped on its way by Cameron Green. Chased by a combination of players, 3 of which of the 4 are from Aldershot, and Hargreaves sends it back to Dewhurst. Gets it out of his feet. Sends a ball down the right channel. Kwame Thomas will chase. He can't win it cleanly. Richards is onto the loose ball. Sends it inside to Sloggett. Sloggett across to Jay Rowe. Rowe's ball forward is cut out easily and well by Keane Anderson, who finds Hargreaves in a little bit of space. Hargreaves out to Frost now on the right side. He'll get the ball back from Frost. And Aldershot just knocking it around, looking to see where the extra man is. Ellison finds Woodhouse. Woodhouse down the line for Bray to chase. Bray jumps and again gets a header on it, and again there's no one near him, but then he gets onto it again, sends it inside. That's half cleared. A little hand in the back from Luca Woodhouse. Free kick to Boston, 10-15 yards inside their own half. Bray's ability to win the ball in the air is good, but there's never been anybody alongside him to get on the bits and pieces. Armitage heads this one away. Hargreaves sends it forward. J. Rowe just beats Corbett to it, and Dylan Hill receives it in front of us now on the right side. Turn around the corner from Sloggett to J. Rowe. He releases Hill. Hill sends a cross in. Hazel's got it in front of Ellison. Back to goal inside the penalty area. Tries the shot. It's beaten away to his right by Dewhurst. Good save. Probably the best of the night from Marcus Dewhurst. Denying Hazel again. 1-0 Shots still. Just past the hour mark.
Yeah. Dewhurst did really well to save that. Ellison slipped, which allowed Hazel a little bit more time, but in the end he feinted one way and then went the other. Shot was curling towards the far corner. Lowe had to make a difficult save, Dewhurst, but he did it really well to not just to repel the ball but keep it away from danger.
Good header from Ellison, and then Dylan Hill picks up the loose ball again, exchanges passes with Teal. Gives it back to Teal again. Shot's not seeing as much of the ball as they'd like at the moment, that's for sure. But somehow they're doggedly competing well enough to keep Boston out to this point. Ellison goes to ground. The ball ricochets and runs kindly into the path of Cameron Green. He plays the ball to Maguire. Great work from Ellison coming back to anticipate Maguire's cross. Blocks it behind. Another corner to the Pilgrims, who trail. They are down, but they are most definitely not out.
No, they've gone a little bit flat, but in the last couple of minutes they've definitely lifted themselves with a vengeance.
Here's Maguire with the right-footed in-swinging corner. Dewhurst jumps unopposed and claims it and bowls it out to the right-hand side to James Henry. Henry plays it first time to Bray, who can take on his man, turns it inside. Green positions himself well, just clears it across his own half, and a good little touch to help it to Rowe. Rowe's going to be shut down now by Hargreaves. Good pressure from Hargreaves. He couldn't win the ball, but he arrived to put Rowe under pressure. And Rowe, who's been outstanding for Boston this season, has had a relatively quiet night so far.
He has, yeah. Certainly not the marauding wing back or the huge threat at set pieces that he can be.
Ooh, Dewhurst slips as he clears that one, and he's trying to clear it forward. He's under pressure from Hazel, and he's cleared it behind his own goal for another corner to Boston. I make that their 5th of the evening, as 1 or 2 Aldershot Town players come back from and go to warm-ups. The finishes will be vital this evening, as they have been so many weeks for the Shots. 1-0 up, but Boston knocking on the door again. 64th minute. Maguire is going to send another corner in, headed away by Frost at the near post. That'll bounce once and find touch over by the final seated section of the south stand. Throw in to Boston. elsewhere I think I saw that Woking had got level at Oldham. Just confirm that in a moment. But throw in to Boston. In fact, it's Oldham 1, Woking 2. Dion Kelly-Evans and Lewis Walker. Woking coming from behind, a bit like the shots did, is Boston coming forward, heading it across the area. Cleared away by Armitage. A lovely touch by Corbett. And now Bray picks the ball up, and shots technically, if they're quick, are 3 against 3, but Bray goes back to Hargreaves. He shifts it inside, finds Armitage, who gets the ball quickly out of his feet because he can feel the presence of Hazel behind him. Sends it out now to Frost. Frost down the right side for Bray to chase again. Bray is up against Zach Mills. The Boston skipper holds it up, goes back to Henry. Henry near the touchline is under pressure, comes inside, goes backwards, and good work again, good pressure from Boston. They managed to force the error, and it'll be a throw into Boston over on the far side, halfway inside their own half. So Oldham, who are in 4th place and seemingly a shoo-in for the playoffs, but unlikely to breach those top 3 positions, treading water tonight, and Woking taking full advantage.
Yeah, no, exactly the response that Neil Ardley would have wanted after Saturday, and he did say after the game on Saturday that they have bigger fish to fry now, and that is to make sure to preserve their National League status.
65 minutes gone here at the EBB. Shots 1, Boston 0. Jacob Hazel sends it across the area. He's cut out behind for another corner to the Pilgrims. They are not going to go away without a fight to the very end of this match and this season, where under Graham Coughlan they have been a completely different animal. Cameron Green is going to take this corner, so they're going to send an outswinger left-footed to the edge of the area, and coming together there. Referee plays on, and Sloggett's got the ball on the right side, tries a ball in. Maguire's got it, squares it across the goal. Hazel towed it towards goal. Dewhurst blocked it with his legs, and then the offside flag went up. But incredibly, for the 6th time this evening, albeit from an offside position, Jacob Hazel has a go in front of goal and can't score, and 3 of them have been denied by Dewhurst out of the 6.
Neither player, Hazel or Dewhurst, would have known that offside flag was coming. And to be fair, Dewhurst should have been picking the ball out of his net while the flag was up.
Right.
Hazel was middle of the goal, should have directed it either side of Dewhurst, and it would have been in the net.
Well, you mentioned that Boston might make changes. They're going to, actually. But Aldershot are going to make some too. A couple, I think. In fact, no, it's Boston who are going to bring on the number 39 for the number 24.
James Gale.
I thought Aldershot were bringing on Mullins for Thomas with the 24 and 39, I could see, but it's the other way around. But Manny Madja, good to see him fit and available again. That's a little earlier than perhaps we anticipated. He's looking like he's going to come on for the last 22-23 minutes or so. Here's Hazel flicking the ball forward. Dylan Hill chasing it out to the left-hand side. J. Rose waiting in the middle. Ball's in, headed away by Ellison. He's a real ball magnet, isn't he? Keane Anderson helps it on. Thomas competes for it. Zach Mills is onto it. He's going to be shut down by Bray. It's played down the left side. Luca Woodhouse gets there first. Can only clear it to touch. And now we will see the number 39 come on for the 24 for Boston. So Dylan Hill coming off and James Gale coming on for him.
Yeah, Dylan Hill not really impacted the game as much as he would have wanted. At his best, really clever on the ball, inventive. Not quite fallen for him tonight. But Gale, a striker, a number 10, can play on the right.
Oh, good turn from
will make an impact.
Inside from the throw. Squares it to Cameron Green. Green back to Richards. Richards out to Maguire. Maguire to J. Rowe. Good ball in. Cameron Green's got it on the edge of the area. Tries a shot. It's on target. A little scrappy. beaten away by Dewhurst, and now Corbett will clear forward for Kwame Thomas to chase. He's battling for it and can't quite keep it in, and the throw is given to Boston on halfway. And Aldershot Town going to make their own substitution. I'm not sure if that's happening now or in a minute. It's not happening yet, no. Ball forward from Boston. Gale sends it on. Hargreaves can't get a clear touch of the ball. Richards sends it in. It bounces in front of Hazel. He goes to ground. Dewhurst bowls it out to Frost on the right hand side. Frost over halfway now. Still coming down the right hand side. Needs a runner. He's got it in Bray. Bray holds it up. Looks to give it back to Frost. Frost sends the ball in. Half cleared away by Boston, only as far as Bray, inside the penalty area on the right side. Twists, turns, gives it back to Keane Anderson. Anderson to Tyler Frost. Frost sends a cross in. Gregory lets it bounce in front of him and across him and go behind for the goal kick. Before that goal kick can be taken, we will see the first substitution of the afternoon for Aldershot Town. Manny Madger it is that's going to come on for James Henry. Pleased to say that Henry sprints off, so no concerns there about his fitness, and a useful 70 minutes for the Shots evergreen talisman.
Absolutely, yeah, and I think extra physical presence for Manny Madger coming into midfield. It'll be Madger and Anderson who are the holding midfielders, and Cameron Hargreaves, who's just moved a little bit further forward into that attacking midfield position.
McGuire sending it into the area. The 1-2's there, but Luca Woodhouse reads it well. And it just can't be underestimated just how game, how fit, and the desire of those three youngsters wearing 33, 35 and 36 at the back for Aldershot. All loanies, all under the age of 21, and far be it from any of us to take their performances for granted, but they have been superb. And the Shots haven't got too many clean sheets, but they've battled so hard. They got one a week ago tonight, and they're less than 20 minutes away from one tonight as well.
Yeah, and particularly given the opposition this evening, they have shown maturity beyond their years.
Here's Boston on the left, trying to make room for the cross from Nicholson. Frost blocks it, Nicholson fetches, and we'll have another throw from Brad Nicholson. Again, the big guns come up. We're going to see Adam Marriott, who certainly knows where the goal is at several clubs, including Tommy Widrington's Kings Lynn. In comes the throw. Frost wins it in the air. Half cleared to the edge of the area. Shot comes in, little deflection on it. Boston send it towards goal, and it's in. It was all a little bit scruffy and scrappy, but it doesn't matter. Boston United have found a way into the Aldershot Town net in the 72nd minute. Aldershot Town 1, Boston United 1.
And I think it's the substitute James Gale, who's already got form since he joining Boston on loan from Mansfield. He somewhat fluked the winner against Sutton a couple of weeks ago, and now he's got the Pilgrims back into this one. Another shot that I think he hits into the ground, and somehow it bobbles, it bounces, it somehow finds its way into the far post.
No chance for Dewhurst, and another clean sheet has gone for the Shots, but in fairness they've done well to get to 72 minutes without conceding against a very, very hungry and lively Boston side. Here's Woodhouse sending the ball out to the right hand side where Boston win it, but they can only send it to Armitage. He sends the ball over the top. Boston will win that, but they can only find Kai Corbett with it. Corbett twists and turns inside, finds Madger across to Keane Anderson. Anderson shapes to go one way, then plays a pass back to Madger. Madger forward looking for Hargreaves. Hargreaves can't get it under control. Hazel gets a header on towards Gale. Gale is thwarted by Luca Woodhouse, plays the ball up to Corbett and then plays it into Hargreaves, who turns it around the corner. Bray will chase and look to hold it up, finds Corbett inside to Keane Anderson. Keane Anderson twists, turns and then tries to find Armitage, but is cut out by Jacob Hazel. He goes back to Cameron Green. The Pilgrims level, probably deservedly so, across the 73 minutes, and a tricky period for the Shots to negotiate here against the Pilgrims, who haven't drawn an away game in 10 and won't be settling for a draw from this point on. Here's Armitage sending the ball out to the right side to Frost. Shots have got to somehow go again to try and win this one. Frost holds it up, goes back inside to Keane Anderson. He sends a cross in to the far post. That's one in the air by Boston. Downward header will trickle into touch. No, it won't, because Luca Woodhouse gets there first. Feeds Corbett. Corbett going back to Woodhouse, who stumbles to the ground. But Boston are there. They send it forward to halfway. Ellison holds up well against Hazel. Wins the header. Bounces into touch now. Quickly taken down the line by Maguire, looking for Gale. The Pilgrims with their tails up. Gale twists, turns, sends a cross in. Dewhurst comes to his near post and will snaffle. Comes to the edge of his area. Needs to be aware that Hazel's behind him. Just keeps hold of it. We are in the 75th minute. Shots 1, Boston United 1.
Yeah, Adam Marriott has sat down. He was due to come on when Boston equalised. I think he was going to replace Jordan Richards, so it would have been another attacker on the pitch for Boston, but I'm sure Marriott's not far from Graham Coughlin's thoughts. As Boston will want to go for a winner as we go into the final 15.
Free kick given away by Kwame Thomas halfway inside the Boston United half. It's worthy of note that if Boston, we talked about this once in the first half, if they get a draw tonight, it will be enough to lift them out of the 4 relegation places and draw Dagenham and Redbridge in. And I think it will be the first time Dagenham have actually dropped into the bottom 4, although they have been dropping over a period of months.
They have, yeah. They've not been in good form. There is always one team you find that drops like a stone from a seemingly safe position and then finds themselves in a very perilous position. But I think a point here this evening, and there's still 15 minutes left, as you would say. All 3 results are still possible, but another point on the road here this evening for Boston would be good progress in their great escape. And again, I would put them as favourites to stay the right side of that line.
Maguire with the ball in. Another terrific save from Marcus Dewhurst. Cameron Green with the header. And were it not for the efforts of Dewhurst this evening, the Shots could be behind, Steve.
Yeah, and Dewhurst has now stayed down after that save, looking in some discomfort, lying almost on his back at that post. Looks like it's either a leg injury, possibly a groin strain or something, in extending himself to make that save. He's going to receive treatment, but
players
Cameron Green ghosted in an excellent cross. Cameron Green in acres of space, powered the header, probably did all that he could, but again finding Dewhurst in fine form. And
Ollie Brace,
not just this evening. Marcus has been excellent for a prolonged period, and Tommy Widrington responds by bringing on Maxi Mullins, and it's Ollie Bray, who's worked hard, run the channels, battled physically, shown willing, but it hasn't really quite happened for him in front of goal.
Side players from both sides came over to take on board some refreshment and 1 or 2 instructions as well, maybe. Interesting that Boston haven't drawn an away game in 10, and that's how things are at the moment. Yet one more clue or indication that this may not end up as a draw tonight. Boston, as I say, will lift themselves out of the bottom 4 at least until the weekend if they can get a point or more. We're going to restart play with a throw in on the left side. Luca Woodhouse takes it down the line. Kwame Thomas flicks it on. Richard sends it back. Ellison half cleared. Keane Anderson slices a volley out to the right hand side. Cameron Green, recently thwarted by Dewhurst, plays it forward. Armitage cuts it out, and Mullins does well to get a header on, but it'll just trickle through to Cameron Gregory. And Jack Barham, of course, another one of that trio of Barrett, Jones and Barham, all completely rested from the squad tonight. Here's Hargreaves coming over, and another great block against Richards. He believes in 40-60s, does Cameron Hargreaves, doesn't he? Never shirks.
40-60s are not even a challenge for him.
There's a good header from Corbett, sent back from Teal. One in the air by Madger, sliced up in the air by Richards. Headed forward by Anderson. Headed back by Sloggett. Clear again from Armitage, back from Sloggett. Hazel hooks it over his head out to the left-hand side where he suspected James Gale would be, and he was. And then Gale has a touch of a Sunday League player, and the ball disappears into touch for an Aldershot Town throw. And that might be a bit unkind on Gale, who at the end of the day has come off the bench and done the one thing that Jacob Hazel's been trying to do all evening, and that's put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, it wasn't the cleanest strike, but as we said, like his winner against Sutton, it's better to be lucky than good.
Absolutely is. Boston competing for a ball in the edge, on the edge of the area, sent forward. Dewhurst will try the early ball again, but Boston have players well back. In fact, it's a poor header. Just deceived by the flight was Connor Teal. So Aldershot will get a bit of territory and a bit of respite. And as we almost complete 80 minutes, it remains Shots 1, Boston 1, and the Shots fans in full voice trying to encourage their team through this 10 minutes or so. Here's come backwards from the throw. Armitage has got it now. He's in the centre circle. It's not being opposed at the minute. He sends it out to the right side to Frost. Frost down to where Kwame Thomas could just hold it up. He'll come back to Keane Anderson. Anderson inside to Madger. Madger's shut down but manages to steer it out to Kwame Thomas, who looks to play it off the Boston player into touch for a Shots throw. If you don't want to hear the Champions League score, turn your volume down for a few seconds. Arsenal 1, Real Madrid 0, 25 minutes to go there. Here at the EBB, we're in the 81st minute and it's Aldershot Town 1, Boston United 1. Is Dewhurst kicking forward from outside his area. Thomas doesn't jump for it, nor does Nicholson. The ball runs through to Frost on the right side. Boston claiming that it's out of play, not given. Frost back onto it, sends a little cross in, and Hart held up. Corbett on the edge of the area. He's got 2 or 3 Boston players in front of him, gives it to Woodhouse, who sends the ball across the goal, but it just disappears away behind it, across it and behind it. Goal kick to Boston. Few oohs and ahs around, 81.5 minutes gone, still 1-1, and Boston are going to make another change.
Yeah, it's Keaton Ward replacing Frankie Maguire. Yeah, probably a straight swap. Both players can play in many positions, but I think Ward's only instruction will be join that attack and try and wreak some havoc, create a chance, score a goal. Because at the moment it's at least a 3-man attack for Boston. When they're in possession, probably a 4 or 5-man attack. And
free kick to the Shots, 10 yards inside their own half, 8 minutes left. The crowd announced 1,738. That's significantly higher than last midweek against Fylde. All credit to the 173 Boston fans who've made exactly 10% of the crowd this evening. Well done, Boston. They've won the ball in their own half, sending it down the left side. Hazel's chasing it. He's going to get there as well. No, he isn't. Ellison's going to get there and tow it into touch. Superb game this evening. Ellison, amongst others like Hargreaves, might be in Steve Gibbs' thoughts, but Steve Gibbs always makes his own mind up with the man of the match.
Usually gets it wrong.
Doesn't get influenced by me. Occasionally gets influenced by the official sponsors, I think, but you wouldn't absolutely wouldn't follow them. I think just 1 or 2 times when you've been struggling for someone, you've gone with them, haven't you? No, but you've got your own opinion, and we see it in the non-league paper every weekend after a home game. In comes the throw, headed away by Ellison again, and now Hargreaves is onto it, and he plays it off the Boston player. It comes into Madger. Madger's surely fouled. There he is indeed, on the edge of his own area. Yeah, no, I take your point, Steve. But again, even in that little cameo of play straight after the two players most hungry for the ball to defend it and get on it, Ellison and Hargreaves, yet again.
Yeah, Dan has been immense again this evening, considering he's probably been the one shots defender that has had to engage Jacob Hazel the most. I think he's done superbly against a real live wire player who's been a handful from the first whistle. But yeah, Ellison has been superb.
Flick on from Thomas, then cleared away by Boston. They've had 1, 2, 3 touches. Now they send it out to the right hand side, but Keane Anderson's onto that. He volleys it into space on the left side for Max Mullins to chase. He's got to the first ball, and now I think he'll just tow it into touch for a throw in down by the corner flag. That's very nice of Christian James, my Boston supporting colleague on the NL Full-Time podcast, just to forward a comment from a Boston fan who said the Aldershot commentary team know their stuff on Boston. High praise from home, he says. That's very kind of you, whoever sent that, thank you. 84.5 minutes gone, 1-1, and Boston will have a second throw now down in the right back position. And I would say on what I've seen over 85 minutes, and 1-1 is about the right result, the scoreline, at the moment, but by no means a result, of course. Bit of head tennis in middle. Madger sends it forward, sent down the right hand side, where Ellison on this occasion has infringed on Hazel, and Ellison's been shown a yellow card. There we were singing his praises, but he's had a difficult job tonight trying to keep that man in check.
He has, and I think that was unfortunate. It was maybe a foul, but I think it was an innocent coming together. I think Tommy Widgington's reaction suggests that he feels the same, but yeah, I think Dan's a little bit unfortunate there.
Free kick then to Boston, over on this right hand side in front of the media box. Plenty of players up there looking to get on the end of a set piece, something Boston have been good at, particularly in recent weeks and months. Ward sends it in, a little knock down edge of the area, shot comes in from Gale, cannons off an Aldershot body, headed back in by Keaton Ward, headed out by Madger, picked up by Sloggett, chipped in, will bounce once, and Dewhurst is well positioned, comes under threat from Maguire. Now he'll kick from his hands. Boston should get a touch on it. Oh, it's a wonderful touch from Cameron Green, but he's being tracked by Mullins. And then Boston have got it on the left side inside the penalty area, and Keaton Ward manages to get a ball in towards goal. It's cut out cleanly by Dewhurst. This time he bowls it out to Anderson. Lovely ball. Anderson's got a bit of space through the middle. Sends it out to the left-hand side for Hargreaves. Hargreaves chips it down the left-hand side. Can Corbett keep it in on the left touchline? Yes, he can. He'll go up against J. Rowe. Twisting, turning, he's getting to the edge of the penalty area. Sends in a cross. Headed away in front of Thomas. Headed back in by Madger. Two players have come together, Madger and Ward. And the referee stopped the play. Ward's up on his knees. Madger is still down. Hasn't had a great season in terms of injuries. And he's laying prone on the floor. And he'll receive some treatment now. 87 minutes completed, and shots 1, Pilgrims 1.
Man, he looks in some discomfort there. There was some rather ambiguous gesturing from a couple of shots players. I'm not sure if they were saying it's okay, he doesn't need treatment, or
get on quickly,
really hurry up, he does need treatment, and he might need a bandage on his head. But
he's sitting up now. That's always a good sign. But if there was any even momentary unconsciousness, then I'm sure Bradley, who's run on, will. It's not Bradley, is it? Sorry, I got the name wrong. Can't think of the physio's name. But he's got the same colour hair and tied up at the back, just like Bradley.
Yeah, I think the wig comes with the job.
Yeah, Madger seems to be okay. And he's holding his head as he comes off, and he'll have to wait a good 30 seconds to get back on. Meanwhile, I think the referee's going to start with a genuine. Is it a genuine drop ball? Or let's have a look. Or is he going to give possession? I don't think Aldershot were in clear possession. I think it was 50-50. But I think it doesn't seem to be a Boston player where the referee's going to drop it, so
No, I think
he's going to give Aldershot possession. Keane Anderson's the nearest. Referee making sure that everybody's at least 10 yards away. Anderson sends it first time into the box. It's headed away and up towards Gale, and Boston may have men forward here. It is Ward who's bursting through, sends it inside, and Keane Anderson's well placed to clear it forward off of Jacob Hazel, and goes back kindly to Marcus Dewhurst, who thinks about throwing it out to Woodhouse, and he wanted it, Woodhouse. Well done, Keane Anderson, still battling hard in the 90th minute.
yeah, it did really well to track back, and looked like Keaton Ward was going to get a shot on goal, and then it was going to be Jacob Hazel, but no, one man had other ideas.
Ward's in possession, but going back towards his own goal. Cleared forward by Rowe. One in the air by Boston, and then one by Armitage, and again by Armitage. Boston can only touch it to Mullins. Mullins finds Madger. Madger sees Frost disappearing out on the right hand side, but his ball's poor, and it's not far enough. And now they got through the middle. Keaton Ward's got it, and he's zooming on the edge of the area, slots it out to J. Rowe. Rowe shoots, deflection, and in. And J. Rowe, in the 91st minute, has put Boston United ahead. It's Rowe again. He's just got the habit of doing it. Little deflection on the shot, but it goes in the net at the High Street end. Aldershot Town 1, Boston United 2.
Yeah, Marcus Dewhurst looking forlorn in his goal mouth. Took a wicked deflection. Rowe had struck it well, but it was the deflection that took it, sent it bouncing, bobbling past Dewhurst, and it's taken that to beat him this evening. But Boston, perfect timing. The fourth official was just holding up a big red 4 on his board to say there'll be 4 minutes added on. But Boston United, 3 points here this evening. How vital could that be in the bigger picture as we come through to the real business end of the season, the cutthroat business end of the season? Boston United could well have propelled themselves not just out of the bottom 4, but gone a long way to securing National League football for next season. They've been brilliant this evening. It looked like maybe familiar failings were going to hold them back and they were only going to take a point from here, but now the shots have injury time.
Oh, there's a ball deflected behind by Boston at the other end. They wait to make a substitution, but the shots have got themselves a corner here, and they've got a long unbeaten home record. It's just got into double figures, which is now under serious threat. Corner to the shots. Can they get back into this one late on? Plenty of bodies forward. In it comes, underneath the bar, headed towards goal, half cleared. Penalty, is it? Not given. The ball's with Cameron Gregory. Shots want a penalty, but they're not going to get one. And Kwame Thomas is apoplectic with rage. He's going to get a yellow card for his dissent. He can't believe it. The penalty decisions went Shots' way on Saturday, but they haven't on this occasion. Cameron Gregory's got the ball, and Boston have just a minute or two left to see this one out.
Yeah, but, yes, Kwame deserved the yellow card. He was hopping mad with rage, and I think probably whatever you feel about a decision, you can't protest quite as aggressively to the referee, but there was such a scrum of players there, legs flying, bodies falling all over the place. I think I'd probably need a couple of angles of a replay to make head or tail of it, but certainly Aldershot Town trying desperately to restore parity. Boston respond. Hazel is off. Jacob Scott is on. Looks like he's taking a position up in central midfield. Having played 4 or 5 in attack, Boston are now packing the midfield and the defensive side of the game to try and hold on.
Boston do into Shots what Shots have done to a lot of teams this season, to come from behind to win games. Ball's in touch right in front of the media stand. We've probably got seconds rather than minutes left. Aldershot take the throw, go back to Ellison to Armitage. Armitage will go out wide to Tyler Frost. Boston still working so hard. Frost sends it down the right side for Mullins to chase. He's up against Brad Nicholson. Nicholson sends it forward. It's blocked by Mullins, into touch. In fact, behind the goal, it'll be a goal kick to Boston, which will probably suit them. And Boston stand on the edge of another away victory. It'll be their 6th in 8 games. And as for Gyro, well, he may have had a quiet evening this evening, but my goodness me, he certainly knows where the goal is. I make that his 9th of the season in all competitions, and one of the most important, but he scored a few on this particular run. It wasn't from a set piece this time, it was on the transition, wasn't it? Boston and Ward, the substitute, doing well.
Yeah, and it was Jay that had joined the attack. He was one of those players released from his defensive duties, thrown into attack, and he could be the man that's taken Boston a long way towards achieving their dream of surviving in the National League.
Throw into the Shots in the dying seconds here. 95 minutes on the clock. That's more than the minimum 4 that was added, but Boston scored, of course, just inside that. Armitage sends it forward on the left. It's flicked on by Thomas. Mullins flicks it on again. He'll end up chasing his own flick on. Holds it up, goes back now to Luca Woodhouse. Can he get a cross in from the left? He can. It should be a straightforward catch for Gregory, but he can't take it. He's had to tip it over the bar. The Shots have got another corner. Dewhurst's been given the nod. Dewhurst is going up for the corner. The Shots throwing caution to the wind. Everybody forward here in the dying seconds. Shots 1, Boston 2. In comes the corner from the right side. Header down, headed away by Boston. Woodhouse chases it. He'll hold it up down by the byline. He'll twist and turn and try and get across in from the left if he can. That's cleared up and away by Boston. The final whistle goes. Shots, pretty long unbeaten home record is ended by a very lively Pilgrims side. The 173 fans over on the far side salute their heroes. Another away win for Boston. The great escape for them continues. Defeat for the Shots. Aldershot Town 1, Boston United 2.
Defeat is maybe a little bit harsh on Aldershot Town, but tonight is all about Boston United. What began at the end of January, looking up at a very steep mountain where the summit was miles away, looking up at it with maybe a little bit of hope but very little belief. Now that belief is genuine and is growing by the second. And huge credit to Graham Coughlin for what he's implemented, for the game plan, the way to win that he has found. Huge credit to him and his Boston players. They found the way to win, and yet again they found a way to win at the Ebb Stadium.
Aldershot Town man of the match for you, Steve?
I think it's got to be Marcus Dewhurst, but very honourable mentions for Mr. Dan Ellison.
Yeah, and Cameron Hargreaves as always, and Luca Woodhouse I thought was very good.
Yeah.
It's not the narrative that one or two might want to use tonight, a game too far or anything. The Shots were combative and competitive throughout.
Yeah, that would be to do Boston a huge disservice.
Yeah, absolutely. Well done to the Pilgrims. The great escape for them continues. Thank you for joining us this evening, wherever you have done around the country, around the world. Our final score this evening, Aldershot Town 1, Boston United 2.